If you don't change what you do each day, don't expect your life to change at all. That's the truth. And it's simple. Real change doesn't come from motivation. It comes from what you do with your hours. Every single day. You don't need a big plan. You don't need perfect timing. You need a few solid habits that you stick to no matter what. Habits that build you. Habits that train your mind. Habits that push your life forward, even when you don't feel like it. In this video, you'll learn 7 habits that if you do them daily, can change your entire life. These are not theories. These are habits that make you more focused, more disciplined, and more in control of your time. You'll stop wasting your days and start using them to build something real. These habits are simple but powerful, and they work when you do them every day. So here's a real question for you. Are you ready to take back your time? Are you ready to stop guessing and start building? Because once you understand and apply these 7 habits, you'll no longer be stuck where you are. You'll know exactly what to do every day to create a life you respect. Stay with me. This might be the shift you've needed. Number 1, wake up early and take charge of your time. Wake up early and take charge of your time. That's where it all begins. You can't build a strong day on a weak start. If you wake up late, you've already handed your day over to something else. And once you give your time away, it's very hard to get it back. That's why I always say if you want to change your life, don't start with big plans. Start with the clock. Start with the decision to get up early and claim your time like it belongs to you, because it does. See, when you wake up early, you're not just getting out of bed. You're making a statement. You're telling the world and yourself, I'm serious about my life. I'm not here to drift. I'm not here to wait for things to happen. I'm here to take responsibility. That's how you build momentum. That's how you earn your own respect. Not by talking about it, but by doing something about it before most people even start their day. Now, I know waking up early isn't easy. It's not supposed to be. That's what makes it powerful. Discipline never shows up to be comfortable. It shows up to test how bad you want it. When that alarm goes off, your body will tell you to stay. Your mind will give you reasons. But that's the moment where your future is decided. That moment, not tomorrow, not next week. That one moment when you either sit up and stand up, or roll over and delay your own life again. There's something special about being up before the world wakes up. It's quiet. It's clear. There's no noise from the outside. Just you and your thoughts. Just you and your priorities. It gives you space to think. It gives you time to breathe before the demands of the day try to steal your focus. And that matters, because most people live in reaction. They're reacting to emails, to noise, to people, to pressure. But when you start early, you live with intention. You choose where your attention goes. You decide what matters. That's power. Success doesn't come to people who are always late to their own life. It comes to people who show up early, ready, focused. You don't have to be the smartest. You don't need luck. You need clarity and consistency. And one of the best ways to build both is to wake up early and own your morning. Because how you start your morning is how you set your tone. And how you set your tone is how you shape your results. The hours in the morning are not just hours. They are leverage. Use them to prepare. Use them to reflect. Use them to review your goals. Use them to move your body. Use them to get ahead before the rest even start. 1 hour early in the morning is worth 2 or 3 later in the day. Because early hours come with energy. They come with space. They come with fewer distractions. If you use those hours wisely, you create a kind of daily advantage that builds up over time. Don't just wake up early and scroll your phone. That's not discipline. That's delay disguised as productivity. When you wake up early, use that time to do the things that sharpen your mind and build your discipline. Write your plans down. Think clearly. Move your body. Remind yourself of your values. Ask yourself what needs to get done, and who you need to become to do it. That's where the progress starts. That's where self-respect grows. You don't need a perfect morning routine. You don't need 10 steps or 20 tools. You need a real reason to get up. You need a decision to not waste another year. You need a reason to get serious. And when you get serious about your time, everything else starts to align. You stop wasting hours. You stop making excuses. You stop pushing things off. And when you stop doing those things, your results start to shift. People talk a lot about motivation, but motivation doesn't show up before action. It shows up after action. And waking up early is one of those actions that builds something inside you. When you do what's hard, something changes. You start to trust yourself. You start to believe you can rely on yourself. You look in the mirror and see someone who doesn't back down. Someone who doesn't hit snooze on their goals. That's not ego. That's earned confidence. The truth is, most people are waiting. They're waiting for the right time, waiting to feel ready. But if you want to change your life, stop waiting. Start waking up early. Start with what you can control. You may not control everything, but you do control what time you get up. And that's enough to change the game. Because once you win that battle, the other battles become smaller. You build strength. You build grit. And that shows up everywhere. In your work, your attitude, your focus. Don't just talk about being better, show it. Wake up early and do the work while others sleep. Use that time to plan your day instead of reacting to it. Be the person who shows up prepared. The person who starts their day before it starts pulling them in every direction. Be the person who takes life seriously. Not someday, but today. You'll notice something else. When you wake up early and you use that time well, you feel different. You feel sharper. You feel stronger. Not because of the clock, but because of the choice. And that feeling, it changes the way you move. It changes the way you respond. It changes the way you carry yourself. You walk different when you know you've already conquered the hardest part of your day, yourself. And that's what it really is. Waking up early isn't about the time. It's about the decision, the discipline, the responsibility. It's about becoming the kind of person who doesn't just wish for progress, but shows up for it. Every day, before the noise, before the rush, before the world gets its hands on your mind, you get there first. You put yourself in charge. That's how you change your life. Not by making one big move, but by doing the small things every day that others avoid. Waking up early is one of those small things with massive impact. It seems simple, but it's not easy. And because it's not easy, most people skip it. Don't be most people. If you want to live a different life, you have to start acting different. And one of the simplest and strongest ways to start acting different is to stop giving away your mornings. Take them back. Use them. Defend them. Protect them like your future depends on it. Because it does. So tomorrow morning, don't roll over. Rise up. Don't wait for life to start. Start it yourself. Wake up early and take charge of your time. That's where the change begins. That's where the new you begins. And if you do it every day, it won't just change your schedule. It will change your entire life. Number 2. Write your plans and stick to them daily. If you want to change your life, start by writing your plans every single day. Don't leave your day to chance. If you wake up without direction, you end up responding to everything around you instead of acting on what matters. A written plan turns confusion into clarity. When you put your thoughts on paper, you give them structure. You remove the noise. You're not just thinking, you're directing your energy with purpose. That daily act separates the ones who drift from the ones who move with intention. A plan gives your day a job, and that gives you real control. People often try to remember their priorities in their head. That's a mistake. The mind is built to think, not to store. It forgets. It gets distracted. It gets tired. But paper doesn't forget. A written plan doesn't change just because your mood does. It's solid. It's visual. It's a commitment you can see. And when you take the time to write what matters, you're telling yourself, this is serious. You're not just going through the motions. You're building a structure for success. That's how you stop guessing. That's how you start leading your day instead of chasing it. When you write down your plans, you're doing more than just listing tasks. You're setting standards. You're choosing what gets your energy. Without a written plan, it's easy to let distractions take over. You answer every message. You jump from one thing to another. Hours pass, and you wonder where the day went. But a written plan keeps you grounded. It brings your attention back to what matters. It doesn't care how busy the world is. It says, this is what we said we'd do. And that kind of structure builds real discipline. Sticking to your written plan is where the real growth happens. Anyone can write down goals, but following through when it's hard, when you're tired, frustrated, or pulled in different directions, that's what separates the serious from the casual. Following your plan trains your brain to trust yourself. Every time you finish what you said you would, your confidence grows. You build a track record with yourself. That matters, because the more you follow through, the stronger your belief becomes. And belief isn't built by talk. It's built by proof. The plan is the map, but your action brings it to life. It's important to keep your daily plans simple. Don't overwhelm yourself with 30 tasks. Choose what truly matters. Write down the top 3 or 5 actions that move you forward. Be specific. Be clear. Vague plans lead to vague results. But when you write down exact actions, like call this person, finish that task, study this subject, you reduce mental friction. You remove the hesitation. You know exactly what needs to be done. And that makes starting easier. You don't waste energy deciding. You just do. That daily clarity builds momentum, and momentum changes everything. Plans should be personal. Don't copy someone else's list just because it sounds impressive. What's meaningful to you? What's necessary in your world? Your plan should reflect your goals, your values, your current stage in life. If you're working on your health, write that. If you're rebuilding your finances, include those steps. Make it yours. That's how it stays relevant. That's how it becomes real. The more your plan fits who you are, the more likely you'll stay committed. And that personal connection gives your routine meaning. You're not just checking boxes. You're shaping your future with intention. Sticking to your plan every day requires more than willpower. It requires review. At the end of the day, sit with it. Look at what you finished. Look at what you avoided. Don't judge yourself. Just study. Ask why. What distracted you? Where did your focus break? What helped you stay on track? That reflection sharpens your awareness. It teaches you about yourself. You stop running on autopilot and start moving with insight. And that's how your daily plan gets better. It's not about being perfect. It's about being honest and making small adjustments every day that lead to big change. Writing your plan every day keeps you in motion. Life changes. New challenges come. Old goals evolve. If you don't write your plans daily, you fall into routines that no longer serve you. You repeat yesterday's habits without asking if they still help. But when you write daily, you stay present. You ask what matters today. You stay awake to your growth. You update your direction, and that keeps you sharp. That keeps your energy focused. Daily planning is not just about productivity. It's about staying connected to your purpose and keeping your life from falling into autopilot. One of the biggest benefits of daily planning is how it clears mental stress. When you carry everything in your head, you feel pressure. It weighs you down. You forget things. You feel behind. But when it's written, you feel lighter. You can breathe. You stop spinning in circles. You move with order. You stop reacting emotionally and start acting intentionally. Writing removes confusion. It gives structure to your chaos. That kind of order calms the mind, and a calm mind makes better decisions. A few minutes of planning in the morning can give you hours of mental peace later. If you do this every single day, write your plans and follow through, you will see your life start to shift. You'll feel more grounded. You'll move faster. You'll get more done with less stress. You'll stop wasting time on things that don't matter. You'll gain self-respect. Not because someone gave it to you, but because you earned it. Daily planning is a small habit, but it builds a strong foundation, and strong foundations support big change. If you want to change your life, don't wait for the perfect plan. Start by writing a simple one every morning, and then stick to it. Number 3. Push yourself to finish what you start today. Most people are good at starting things, but very few are consistent at finishing them. That's where the real difference is made. It's easy to feel excited at the beginning, when motivation is high, and the idea is fresh. But once the work begins, once it gets uncomfortable or boring, most people stop. They put things off. They leave things halfway. And that unfinished task becomes a weight on their mind. If you want to grow, you have to finish what you start. Not sometimes. Not when it's convenient. But every day, no matter how you feel, when you finish something, you send a message to yourself that you are dependable. You create a memory that says, I keep my word. That habit builds a kind of quiet strength. It's not about talent. It's not about how fast you do it. It's about showing up and closing the loop. Leaving something halfway is like leaving energy behind. You can't gain power from things you never finish. But when you complete a task, no matter how small, you build confidence. You prove that you don't quit when it's uncomfortable. You stay in control when others check out. Every time you leave something unfinished, it leaves a mental door open. That open door drains your focus. It lingers in your mind, reminding you that you didn't follow through. It nags at you in the background. But when you finish, you close that door. You free up mental space. You give your brain peace. That sense of completion doesn't just make you productive, it clears stress. You don't feel overwhelmed by unfinished business. You feel proud. You feel clean. And that clean space inside you gives you more room to take on the next thing with strength. There will always be distractions. Life is full of unexpected demands. But learning how to finish what you start teaches you to stay centered. You don't abandon your task every time something pops up. You stay focused. You make a decision that your word matters more than your mood. Finishing something when it's hard is how you learn self-control. It's how you build mental discipline. People who finish what they start don't need everything to feel right. They get it done because they made a commitment to do so. That mindset brings real progress. Finishing a task also shows respect for your time. If you start something and walk away halfway, you've already spent your energy but didn't collect the reward. That's a poor investment. You've already given your time and focus. Why not follow through and gain the benefit? When you push yourself to finish, you make sure that your effort means something. That's how you stop wasting effort and start multiplying results. Each completed action stacks up. Each finished task adds weight to your progress. Over time, those completions compound. That's what builds a solid, reliable life. Sometimes the task is small. It doesn't feel important. That's where many people let it slide. But the size doesn't matter. What matters is the discipline to complete it. If you practice finishing the small things, you train yourself to finish the big things. It becomes automatic. It becomes who you are. You become someone who doesn't let things slide. Someone who follows through. Someone who keeps their energy tight. And that discipline shows up everywhere. In your work, your health, your relationships. It creates a sense of internal order that people can see and trust. You won't always feel like finishing. That's normal. But that feeling is not a signal to stop. It's a test to pass. Pushing yourself when you're tired, bored or frustrated, is how you grow. That's how you stretch your limits. If you quit every time it gets hard, you train yourself to give up. But if you keep going when it's difficult, you train yourself to be strong. You teach yourself that discomfort isn't the enemy, it's the doorway to power. The more you finish despite your feelings, the stronger your mind becomes. You also gain clarity by finishing. Sometimes you don't know if something is worth it until you see it through. Halfway opinions are always shallow, but when you finish, you get the full picture. You understand what it took. You gain insight from the entire process. That kind of learning is earned. You don't get it by starting 10 things and finishing none. You get it by going deep on the thing in front of you. And that clarity helps you make better decisions going forward. It's a skill that keeps sharpening the more you practice it. If you want others to trust you, become someone who finishes. That's how you build a reputation that matters. People watch your actions more than your words. If you say you'll do something and you follow through, they remember that. But if you leave things half done, people stop counting on you. They stop believing your promises. Trust is built through consistent execution. You don't need to impress anyone with flashy ideas. Just become the person who gets it done. Day after day. That character trait alone will open more doors than talent ever will. You don't have to finish everything perfectly. You just have to finish with effort and honesty. Give your full attention to what you start. Respect the task. Push past the urge to quit early. That simple habit done every day will change the way you feel about yourself. It will change the way others treat you. It will change the results you get in your life. Not because it's dramatic, but because it's rare. Most people start, few finish. If you want a life that stands out, become someone who always finishes what they start, starting today. Number 4. Clean your room and respect where you live. The space you live in reflects how you think. If your room is a mess, if your clothes are everywhere, if your desk is buried under clutter, your mind won't be far behind. That's not just about cleaning. It's about the energy you carry. When you live in a clean environment, you feel lighter, clearer, more organized inside. It sends a signal to your brain, you care about yourself. You care about your direction. And that simple habit, cleaning your room, becomes the foundation for a life that's more focused, more intentional, and more in control. Cleaning your room is not about being perfect. It's about creating an environment that helps you stay sharp. It's hard to think clearly when you're surrounded by mess. It distracts you. It drains your attention. It reminds you of all the things you've been avoiding. But when your space is in order, your decisions improve. You stop wasting time looking for things. You stop tripping over your own mess. You walk into your room and feel ready, not overwhelmed. That small shift changes how you approach your day, and over time, it changes how you approach your goals. Most people wait until things get out of control before they act. They let clutter build up, then clean when they're frustrated. But success comes from doing small things consistently. If you make it a habit to clean every day, even just for a few minutes, you avoid the overwhelm. You create order before the chaos builds. That habit builds discipline. It teaches you to deal with things early, not when they explode. And that mindset helps you in every area of life. It's not about the room. It's about training yourself to take responsibility before life has to remind you. Your room is your space. It's the one place you control. If you won't take care of that, how can you expect to handle more? Cleaning is not a chore. It's a statement. It says, I respect myself enough to keep where I live in order. That respect matters. Because the way you treat your environment eventually becomes the way you treat your opportunities. If you're careless with small things, you'll likely be careless with big ones. But if you handle the little things with care, you build a habit of excellence that touches everything you do. When you walk into a clean room, something shifts in you. You feel calm. You feel ready. There's less tension, less noise. The energy in the room supports your growth instead of draining it. That's not just emotional, it's practical. You can find your tools. You can sit down and focus. You're not tripping over your shoes or feeling behind before you start. That daily order saves you time, reduces stress, and creates space for real thinking. And in a world full of noise, that quiet structure becomes one of your strongest advantages. There's power in doing what's in front of you. Cleaning your room is not about deep meaning. It's about building the habit of action. You see something that needs to be done, and you do it. That mindset carries over into your work, your habits, your relationships. You stop waiting for the mood to strike. You stop making excuses. You become the kind of person who handles what needs handling right now. That simple shift builds trust in yourself, and that trust builds confidence. Not the kind that talks, but the kind that acts. When you respect where you live, you start seeing yourself differently. You feel worthy of growth. You stop accepting average. Your environment shapes your mindset. If your space is full of trash, broken items, or things you don't use, it silently tells you to settle. But when you create a clean, intentional space, it reminds you every day that you're moving forward. You're not stuck in the past. You're not living by default. You're choosing your surroundings, and that choice gives you momentum. Your room becomes a daily reminder that your life is under your control. There's something grounding about making your bed, folding your clothes, and cleaning your floor. These aren't big acts, but they bring structure. They bring completion, and those small completions matter more than most people think. They prepare your mind to complete bigger things. They teach you not to leave things undone. They show you that your actions shape your space, and your space in turn shapes how you feel. It becomes a feedback loop of order and focus. And once that becomes normal, you start expecting more from yourself, not just in your room but in your life. You don't need fancy systems. You don't need a perfect layout. You need consistency. Cleaning your space is not about aesthetics. It's about responsibility. It's about making the decision to live with order, not chaos. It's about removing what no longer serves you and keeping only what pushes you forward. That habit, repeated every day, doesn't just clean your room, it cleans your mindset. You start seeing things differently. You start acting more deliberately. And that deliberate action leads to results you can count on, because they're built on real effort, not random bursts of emotion. If you make this habit a daily priority, clean your room and respect where you live, you'll start to notice changes. You'll breathe easier. You'll think better. You'll stop tolerating clutter in other areas of your life too. You'll hold yourself to a higher standard. Not because someone told you to, but because you feel better when your world is in order. And when you feel better, you do better. That simple choice to keep your space clean becomes the anchor that helps you stay grounded, focused, and ready for everything the day brings. That's how real change begins, right where you live. Number 5. Say no to one lazy thought every day. Every day you face a moment when a lazy thought tries to talk you out of doing what you know you need to do. It sounds convincing. It tells you to rest a little longer, delay the work, take it easy. It always shows up right before you act. And if you say yes to it, you lose time. You lose momentum. You lose self-control. But if you say no, just one solid no, you break that pattern. You interrupt the cycle. That single choice becomes a turning point in your day. That's how you start to gain power over yourself. You don't have to fight every thought. You don't need to win every battle. You just need to win one. Every day. One moment where you hear that excuse in your head, and instead of agreeing, you push back. It might be the thought that says, skip your workout, or scroll your phone for a while, or you can do it later. That one thought is small, but if it controls you every day, your life starts slipping. But if you catch it, challenge it, and say no, you regain your strength. You teach yourself that you are in charge. Lazy thoughts aren't loud. They whisper. They sound harmless. That's what makes them dangerous. They don't scream failure. They slowly drain your discipline. But the good news is, one firm decision each day is enough to stop them. You don't need to overhaul your life overnight. You just need to build a habit of catching one weak idea and shutting it down. When you do that consistently, you start changing the way your mind works. You stop listening to doubt. You stop believing weakness. And you start trusting your ability to move forward with focus. It's not about being perfect. You'll still have lazy thoughts. That's normal. Everyone does. But what matters is how you respond. Every day is a new opportunity to push back once. Just once. That pushback may look small to others, but you know what it means. It's the moment you showed up when you didn't feel like it. The moment you kept going when it was easier to quit. Those wins are invisible, but they shape your mindset. They become the proof you need to believe you're capable of more than your excuses. Saying no to laziness isn't about forcing yourself to do everything. It's about protecting your discipline. One lazy thought leads to another, and then another. Soon, hours are gone. You didn't plan to waste them. You just never pushed back. But when you say no to the first lazy thought, you protect your time. You stay focused. That one decision prevents a string of wasted moments, and over time that adds up. You get more done. You feel stronger. You carry yourself differently. Not because you're trying to impress anyone, but because you know you're showing up for yourself. The brain always looks for comfort. It wants to stay safe. Lazy thoughts are the brain's way of avoiding discomfort. But comfort isn't what builds you. Effort does. Action does. Saying no to the easy way out, even once, reminds your brain that discomfort is not danger. It's growth. It's movement. That small moment of resistance trains your mind to follow effort, not ease. It rewires how you react to challenges. You stop looking for shortcuts. You start leaning into effort. And that new mindset creates results that comfort never will. You don't need to wait for motivation. You need to act without it. When the lazy thought shows up, it will always feel convincing. It will never feel like the wrong choice. That's the trap. But you're not here to live by feeling. You're here to live by decisions. One daily decision to reject laziness is enough to shift your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who waits. You start seeing yourself as someone who moves, someone who acts. That one habit transforms your life because it changes who you believe you are. It doesn't matter what area of life you apply it to. Maybe it's your health. Maybe it's your work. Maybe it's your personal goals. Every area will try to pull you toward ease, and every area will reward you for pushing through. That's what makes this habit so powerful. It's simple, but it touches everything. It gives you an edge. While others delay, you take action. While others wait for the right feeling, you move forward. And that kind of consistency doesn't just bring progress. It brings peace. Because you're no longer at the mercy of excuses. The more you say no to lazy thoughts, the quieter they become. They lose their grip. You start to see them clearly. You stop taking them seriously. You recognize them as old habits, not real guidance. That awareness makes it easier to act. You don't waste time arguing with yourself. You know what matters, and you do it. That's not just discipline. That's freedom. Freedom from the mental noise that used to keep you stuck. And when you live with that kind of clarity, every day feels more within your control. You don't need to change everything at once. You don't need to fix your whole life today. Just build this one habit. Say no to one lazy thought every day. Do it when it's hard. Do it when no one is watching. Do it even when the result feels small. Because it's not just about that moment. It's about the pattern it creates, the identity it builds, the life it shapes. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to keep showing up for yourself. One decision at a time. That's how real change begins. That's how you build a life you respect. Number 6. Move your body to sharpen your thinking fast. Your body is the vehicle that carries your thoughts. If your body is stiff, sluggish, or tense, your thinking slows down with it. Energy isn't just something you feel, it's something you create by how you move. If you want your mind to be sharp, your decisions to be clear, and your focus to be strong, start by moving your body. A few minutes of real movement each day can shift your entire mood. It wakes up your senses. It pulls you out of mental fog. It reminds your brain that it's time to get serious and take control. When you sit too long, your body begins to sink. And as your body slows, so does your ability to think clearly. You start forgetting things. You lose momentum. You feel off. But movement resets you. It doesn't have to be intense. It just needs to be honest effort. A walk, a stretch, a few push-ups. Anything that gets your blood flowing again. That physical motion brings life back to your brain. It improves your focus. It refreshes your energy. It makes it easier to take action. You start thinking like someone who's ready, not someone who's stuck. There's a direct link between motion and clarity. When you move, you think faster. Ideas come easier. You're more alert. You're more decisive. And you're more confident in your ability to handle what's in front of you. The mind needs oxygen. It needs circulation. It needs a signal that you're awake and in control. Movement sends that signal fast. And once your brain knows you're serious, it works with you. It stops drifting. It stops making excuses. It starts focusing on solutions. That's why moving your body is not optional. If you want a sharp, focused life, this is not about becoming a fitness expert. This is about becoming responsible for your state of mind. Too many people try to fix their emotions while staying still. They overthink. They stay in bed. They hope for motivation. But motivation doesn't find people who stay frozen. It finds those who start moving. You don't need to feel good to start. You need to start so you can feel good. Even a short burst of activity can shake off doubt. It can break anxiety. It can shift you from negative to focused. That's power you can use anytime. Movement also trains your discipline. It's hard to move when you don't feel like it. It's hard to get up and push when your energy is low. But that's the point. That's where you grow. When you move anyway, despite your emotions, you teach your mind that you are in control. You set the tone for your day instead of waiting for it to be handed to you. And once you develop that habit of motion, your standards go up. You start expecting more from yourself. You stop needing external motivation. You move because it's part of who you are. There's something powerful about using your body to change your mental state. It doesn't require a long speech or deep thinking. It just requires effort. Your breath gets stronger. Your heart beats faster. Your blood moves quicker. And all of that affects how you see your day. You stop seeing problems as heavy. You start seeing them as challenges you can handle. You walk with more intention. You speak with more clarity. You make decisions from a place of energy instead of fear. That's what movement gives you. It's not about muscle. It's about mindset. The world moves fast. If you want to keep up, your mind needs to stay sharp. And the fastest way to get there is through your body. A quick stretch in the morning. A midday walk to reset your focus. A few push-ups to break mental tension. These small acts cost nothing, but they give you an edge. They create momentum when others feel stuck. They help you stay focused when others spiral. And that edge, practiced every day, becomes a lifestyle. It becomes the reason you stay on track while others drift further away from their goals. Most people underestimate how physical habits shape mental results. They treat their body like a side project, something separate from their real work. But your body is your foundation. It's your engine. And if that engine is weak or ignored, it slows everything down. But if that engine is strong, even in small ways, it powers your ability to show up strong every day. You think clearer. You move quicker. You react smarter. All from just a few minutes of consistent movement. That's not theory. That's real life. And real life rewards those who treat their energy with respect. You don't need hours. You don't need perfect conditions. You just need the decision to move daily. Not for appearance. Not for ego. But for clarity. For power. For ownership of your state. You don't let your body sink into laziness. You don't allow your energy to stay stuck. You act. You move. You take responsibility for the one tool you always have. Your physical presence. When you do that every day, your thinking gets sharper, your actions get bolder, and your path forward becomes much more clear. You stop drifting. You start driving. Make this a daily practice. Move your body with purpose. Do it when it's hard. Do it when it's easy. Do it because your future deserves a clear mind. Don't wait until you're tired, distracted, or stuck. Use movement to prevent those states. Keep your body active, and your mind will follow. You'll think faster. You'll focus better. You'll show up stronger. Not by accident, but by daily choice. That's how change begins. With simple daily movement that strengthens not just your body, but your entire approach to life. Number 7. Read 5 pages of something that teaches you. Reading 5 pages every day of something that teaches you is a small habit, but it carries massive value if you stay consistent. Most people scroll endlessly through content that gives them nothing. It fills their time, but empties their mind. But 5 pages of real wisdom, real experience, or practical ideas, that's an investment. It adds something new to your thinking. It sharpens your choices. It gives your mind a tool it didn't have the day before. That's how growth begins. Not by reading 1,000 books in a year, but by reading 5 solid pages every single day without missing. This habit doesn't need to feel exciting. It just needs to be done. Growth isn't always loud or fast. It usually looks like you, sitting quietly, learning something useful while the world is busy avoiding the uncomfortable truth. It's the quiet learners who stay ready. When challenges come, they've already studied solutions. When life throws pressure at them, they respond with clarity. Why? Because they've been feeding their mind. They've been collecting knowledge, not noise. That quiet preparation builds strength that doesn't need to shout. It shows up when it counts. in your decisions, in your focus, in how you carry yourself. When you read something valuable, your thoughts start shifting. You notice what matters more. You recognize what used to confuse you. That's the power of a simple page. It adds to your mental framework. It trains you to think for yourself. It shows you how others faced real problems and what they did about it. You gain insight from people you've never met. And if you take it seriously, those lessons don't just stay in the book, they move into your life. They shape your habits. They impact how you work, speak, and lead. And all of that starts with 5 pages. You don't need to understand everything you read. What matters most is exposure. New words, new frameworks, new ideas. Even if you grasp one idea from 5 pages, it's worth it. That one idea could save you from wasting weeks. It could help you avoid a wrong turn. It could give you the missing piece to a plan you've been stuck on. Don't underestimate what 5 pages can give you. You may not always feel the change right away, but the shift is happening. Your awareness is expanding. Your standards are rising. That's how personal evolution really works. Reading 5 pages daily teaches you discipline without pressure. You show up for it because you said you would, not because anyone's forcing you. That kind of internal accountability builds strength that lasts. It's not about checking a box. It's about showing yourself that you can commit to your growth, even on the days when you're tired, busy, or distracted. That decision to stay consistent creates quiet power. You begin to see yourself as someone who learns, who improves, who chooses depth over distraction. That belief system makes you sharper, more prepared, and harder to knock off balance. Pick books that align with where you want to go. If you want to become more focused, read about focus. If you want to lead better, read about leadership. If you want to stop wasting time, read about discipline. Let your reading fuel your direction. Don't just read what's popular, read what helps. Choose quality over quantity. 5 solid pages of truth are more valuable than 50 pages of fluff. It's not about speed, it's about usefulness. When your reading matches your goals, the habit feels more alive. You're not just reading, you're building a stronger version of yourself, page by page. This habit protects your mind from useless noise. Most people consume without thinking. They absorb opinions, headlines, negativity, none of which improves their life. But when you read something that teaches, you filter what goes into your mind. You become more intentional. That kind of clarity helps you see through nonsense. You stop falling for shallow advice. You stop chasing distractions. You start making choices from a place of knowledge. That awareness can save years. It can guide you through tough seasons. It can give you a direction when others are lost. And all of it comes from a small daily choice. The greatest advantage of this habit is that it's always within reach. No matter where you are, no matter what life throws at you, you can still pick up something and learn. That control is powerful. It means you're never truly stuck. You can keep growing even when everything else feels like it's falling apart. 5 pages won't fix everything overnight, but they will keep you steady. They will remind you that you are not helpless. You are not finished. You are still learning. And as long as you're learning, you are getting stronger every single day. Make this a non-negotiable part of your day. Do it first thing in the morning, or right before bed. Do it with a pen in hand. Highlight what stands out. Write down thoughts. Let the material speak to your life. Let it challenge you. Let it call you out. Let it push you forward. That's when reading becomes more than a habit. It becomes a weapon. You walk into your day sharper, calmer, and clearer than the average person. And when that becomes normal for you, life opens up in ways it never could when you were stuck in mental survival mode. If you want to rise, feed your mind daily with something that demands more of you. Read what teaches, what sharpens, what elevates. 5 pages at a time. That's not too much. That's not too hard. But it is effective. It's one of the easiest habits to start, and one of the most powerful to keep. It's a daily choice to be better than you were yesterday. It's a statement that your mind deserves growth. And if you stay faithful to that one act, every day, you won't just think differently. You'll live differently. You'll lead differently. And you'll change your life for good. Number 8. Speak one truth, even if it's uncomfortable now. Every day presents a moment where truth is needed, real truth. Not watered down, not dressed up to be accepted, just spoken clearly and respectfully. That moment may feel heavy, it may shake your comfort, but if you pass it by, you carry the weight of silence. Truth that stays hidden begins to rot inside you. It turns into resentment, confusion, and disconnection. But if you speak it, you create a shift. You clear space. You remove tension. One honest sentence spoken in courage can change the direction of a relationship, a decision, or even your own sense of peace. Most people avoid saying what's real because they're afraid of conflict. But avoiding the truth doesn't erase the problem. It delays it, and delay always multiplies the damage. Being truthful, even when uncomfortable, forces clarity. It brings things to the surface that need to be dealt with. That may feel tense in the moment, but it's honest tension, and honest tension always leads to resolution if handled with maturity. The longer you hold back what you really think, the more you lose your connection to yourself. And when you lose that, you lose everything that makes your life feel right. Telling the truth doesn't mean being reckless, it means being responsible. It means having enough self-respect to speak your mind with care and enough discipline to say it in the right tone. One of the biggest signs of growth is the ability to express truth without rage or fear. That takes emotional strength. It takes presence. It takes inner steadiness. When you say what's true, not to win, not to attack, but simply to be clear, you invite trust. You make yourself dependable. And in a world where most people hide behind silence, that makes you stand out in the right way. Each time you speak an uncomfortable truth, you reinforce who you are. You stop twisting yourself to please others. You stop shrinking to avoid friction. You step forward with honesty. And with that, you begin to build a life that's not shaped by other people's comfort, but guided by your own clarity. That's how you build strength, by choosing to live aligned with what you know is right. No more pretending. No more hoping someone reads your mind. No more swallowing your voice to keep the peace. You say what needs to be said, and you grow from the experience. Truth sharpens your mind. It clears out mental clutter. You no longer have to juggle double meanings or manage hidden frustration. You said it. You stood up. You know where you stand. That mental freedom allows you to focus on what actually matters. You stop second-guessing yourself. You stop spinning in circles. You move forward with more ease. Speaking one uncomfortable truth every day trains your mind to prioritize real connection over surface-level acceptance. You stop needing everyone to agree with you. You start needing to respect yourself. And that shift changes your entire approach to life. Even when it's hard, truth builds connection. People may not like what you say at first, but over time they'll learn that your words are real, that you don't play games, that you're not hiding behind fake smiles, that you mean what you say. That kind of character earns respect, and respect lasts longer than popularity. It lasts longer than approval. It lasts because it's built on truth. If you want relationships that last, you need truth at the center. Speak one truth a day, and you'll clean out the lies that disconnect you from others and from yourself. Truth also teaches you how to stand alone. Some truths will be unpopular, some will be misunderstood, but you don't speak them for applause. You speak them because they're necessary. You speak them because they protect your values. You speak them because they keep your soul clear. And when you do that consistently, you become someone who isn't shaken by pressure. You build your life on a solid foundation. You don't need to shift with every trend. You don't need to hide behind vague language. You walk in truth, and that steadiness gives you confidence without needing anyone's permission. You don't have to speak every truth at once. Start small, one real sentence a day. Maybe it's something you've avoided. Maybe it's something about how you feel. Maybe it's something about what you want. It doesn't have to be dramatic. It just has to be true. If you keep this habit, you'll start feeling lighter. You'll start breathing easier. The tension of silence will break. The pressure of pretending will fade. And the strength that comes from speaking will grow. Truth practiced daily becomes a lifestyle. A calm, strong, powerful way to live without masks or confusion. You'll make mistakes along the way. That's normal. Sometimes the truth will come out too strong. Sometimes it'll be misunderstood. Don't let that stop you. Learn from it. Get better. Speak with more care. But keep speaking. Keep choosing truth over silence. Keep choosing growth over fear. Keep choosing to say the thing that matters because it matters. And when you live that way consistently, you create a reality you can trust. A life that doesn't rely on hiding, avoiding, or delaying. A life that runs on real words, real choices, and real courage that doesn't fade under pressure. If you want to change your life, start by being more honest. Especially when it's hard. Speak one truth every day. Do it with respect. Do it with strength. Do it because your future depends on your clarity. Truth removes confusion. It heals tension. It builds relationships that are real. And it builds character that doesn't crack when life gets heavy. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait for everyone to understand. Just say what's real. Say what you mean. And if you do that over time, you'll become the kind of person who lives with boldness, peace, and integrity. Number 9. Track how you spend every hour of today. Most people have no idea where their time actually goes. They wake up, go through the motions, react to whatever shows up, and by the end of the day, they're tired and frustrated, but can't explain why. If you want to take control of your life, start by tracking how you spend every hour today. Write it down. Be honest, no filters. This is not about judgment. It's about clarity. Once you see the truth on paper, you'll know what's costing you progress. You can't change what you don't track. And without awareness, your time will keep disappearing without results. When you start tracking your time, something shifts. You begin to notice how often you switch tasks, how long you linger in distraction, how little time you give to what really matters. You see the wasted minutes add up to hours, but you also see opportunities. You see where your time leaks and where it could be reclaimed. It's not about perfection, it's about awareness. When you become conscious of how your hours are spent, you stop saying, "I don't have time." You realize it's not a time problem, it's a focus problem. And that realization changes everything. There's power in knowing. Most people live in a blur. One day blends into the next. But when you track your time, your day becomes visible. You can see patterns. You can measure how long it really takes to finish something. You start making better decisions because the numbers don't lie. If you see you're spending 3 hours on meaningless scrolling, you can cut it. If you notice you're avoiding something important for most of the day, you can face it. The data speaks louder than your excuses. That's how real improvement begins. Not with effort, but with accuracy. Tracking your time also forces you to take responsibility. When it's written down, you can't hide behind busyness. You see where you were intentional and where you drifted. You become more honest with yourself. That honesty leads to stronger habits. You start thinking ahead. You plan your blocks of time. You give tasks their place. You create order where there used to be guesswork. That shift in approach helps you stay sharp. You stop relying on motivation and start building systems. And those systems keep you grounded on the days when emotions or distractions try to take over. This habit isn't hard. It just takes attention. Carry a notebook or open your phone's notes app. Every hour, write what you did. That's it. Don't wait until the end of the day. Your mind will blur it all together. Do it as you go. Even if it's simple. Worked on project, called mom. Watched TV. The goal isn't to impress anyone. The goal is to become aware. Once you make this a daily practice, you'll notice you start thinking differently. You'll pause before wasting time. You'll catch yourself slipping. That's the power of tracking. It brings your time under your control. Time is your most limited resource. You can't buy more of it. You can't borrow it. All you can do is manage what you've been given. And that starts by knowing where it's going. If you waste 1 hour a day, that's 365 hours a year gone. That's more than 2 weeks. And it usually isn't just 1 hour, it's several, spread across aimless activity. But when you track every hour, you tighten your control. You learn to respect time. You stop giving it away to distractions that bring you nothing. That habit alone can put you far ahead of the average person. Don't underestimate the emotional effect of seeing your time clearly. At first, it might sting. You might realize you're spending more time avoiding work than doing it, or that you give hours to things that don't move your life forward. But that sting is good. It wakes you up. It helps you make stronger choices tomorrow. That kind of discomfort leads to action. Without tracking, you stay blind. You think you're doing fine because the day felt full. But feelings lie. Records don't. And when you start making decisions based on what's true, you stop wasting energy. People who manage time well aren't necessarily smarter. They're more disciplined. And that discipline starts with tracking. The difference between growth and frustration is often how well you manage your minutes. A person who knows where every hour goes can build momentum faster. They can adjust quickly. They don't have to guess. They know what needs work. They know what's working. That kind of insight turns your daily routine into a system. It gives you leverage. And with leverage, your progress isn't random. It's repeatable. You stop relying on luck and start trusting your process. Over time, tracking your hours will reveal something even deeper. It will expose your priorities. Not what you say matters, but what you actually give time to. If you say your health matters, but you spend zero time on it, that's a disconnect. If you say you value growth but never read or learn, that's a pattern. You can't fix your priorities until you see them clearly. And when you see them, you can change them. You can shift your focus. You can remove distractions. You can redesign your day around what truly matters. And finally, start living aligned with your goals. If you want to change your life, you don't need more time. You need better attention. Track how you spend every hour today. Write it down, study it, use it to guide tomorrow. Do it again the next day. Build awareness. Build intention. Build momentum. Time once spent never comes back. But when you manage it well, it multiplies your results. It brings structure to your growth. And that structure creates freedom. Not the kind you hope for, but the kind you earn. The kind that comes from knowing, hour by hour, you are moving your life forward on purpose. Number 10. Review your day before your head hits pillow. Before the day ends, before your eyes close, before you turn off the light, stop and look back. Ask yourself what you really did today. Not what you planned, not what you hoped, but what you actually lived. Review your day. Look at the choices you made. See where your time went. Think about the people you spoke to, the habits you followed, the thoughts you believed. This daily review isn't about guilt or regret. It's about clarity. You can't grow from what you ignore, but when you look at your day, honestly, you learn how to do it better tomorrow. Most people rush to sleep trying to escape the day, not understand it. They carry stress to bed because they never pause to reflect, but the mind needs closure. It needs order. And that order only comes when you look at your day with full attention. What did you finish? What did you delay? What took more of you than it should have? What gave you energy and what drained it? These answers help you make smarter decisions next time. One day of reflection is better than a week of blind repetition. That's how you break old cycles. This habit gives you power over patterns. Without review, your days blur together. You repeat the same habits, the same thoughts, the same distractions, but when you look back on your day, you catch yourself. You notice what keeps showing up. You become aware of the little things that steal your time or break your focus. And with that awareness, you can make changes that last. You don't need to change your whole life overnight. You just need to change one behavior you notice today. That's how progress compounds, quietly, slowly, but steadily in the right direction. The review doesn't take long. Just 5 or 10 minutes of focused thought. You can do it sitting on your bed. You can do it with a pen and notebook, or even in your mind. What matters is being honest. Look at the moments when you showed up strong. Remember what helped you stay focused. Celebrate the things you got right. Then look at where you slipped. Not to punish yourself, but to understand what threw you off. What distracted you. What emotional response got the best of you. That understanding helps you become more stable the next day. Reviewing your day helps you make peace with it. Even if the day didn't go as planned, Even if you fell short, reflecting helps you take ownership. You stop blaming the world. You stop carrying unresolved tension. You process it. You learn from it. Then you let it go. That's how you sleep better. You don't fall asleep wondering what went wrong. You go to bed knowing exactly what happened and what you're going to do differently tomorrow. That kind of mental closure makes a big difference. It lowers anxiety. It lifts your self-awareness. It keeps your progress from stalling. You also begin to notice small wins, things you would have forgotten without the review. The moments you stayed calm, the things you resisted, the goals you got closer to. These little victories matter. They're proof that you're growing. And when you see them clearly, your motivation grows. You realize you're not stuck. You're not lost. You're building, step by step, and you don't need someone else to notice. You notice that's enough, because when you're proud of how you handled your day, you carry that pride into the next one, and your confidence becomes rooted in truth. This habit builds integrity. You stop lying to yourself. You stop pretending things are fine when they're not. You stop saying, "I'll do better tomorrow," without knowing what better really means. When you review your day, you define your next step with clarity. That's how you create meaningful goals instead of vague wishes. You start your next day with purpose, because you ended the last one with reflection. This kind of discipline gives your life structure. It removes the guesswork. It replaces confusion with intention. And the more often you review your day, the more in control you become. People spend hours planning, but rarely reflect. And without reflection, planning becomes guesswork. You can't improve what you never measure. You can't fix what you never notice. Review brings precision. It shows you what's working and what's not. And that knowledge becomes a tool. It keeps your actions aligned with your values. It keeps you from drifting too far off course. It protects you from falling into patterns you thought you already left behind. It's not about overthinking. It's about staying awake. It's about facing the truth of your day and using it as fuel to rise. If you truly want to live differently, you have to start ending your days differently. Not with distractions, not with noise, not with avoidance, but with quiet attention. Give yourself a few minutes each night to pause, to think, to learn. That pause could be the difference between repeating another average day and building a much stronger one. The world moves fast, but you don't have to. You can slow down. You can get clear. You can build your life with intention, one honest day at a time. And that begins by reviewing your day before your head hits the pillow. Do this every day. No matter how tired you are, no matter how late it is, make it a non-negotiable habit. Reflect before you rest. Own your day. Understand it. Learn from it. Then release it. Let it go with clarity, not confusion. Sleep with peace, not pressure. You're not here to live blindly. You're here to grow, to improve, to evolve. And that evolution doesn't need big moves. It needs daily truth, daily awareness, daily effort, one review at a time. That's how you rise. That's how you lead yourself to a better life. One day, one decision, one review at a time. So now you've got the truth. 7 habits. Simple, clear, and real. Do them every day, and your life will change. Not just on the outside, but from the inside out. You'll think better. You'll act with more purpose. You'll stop wasting time and start building real progress. But remember, knowing isn't enough. Change only happens when you do the work. Pick one habit and start today, then add the next. Stay consistent. Stay honest with yourself. These aren't just tips. These are tools. Use them. Live them. And in a few weeks, you won't just feel different. You'll be different. You'll be stronger, more focused, more disciplined. And that kind of change doesn't come from talk. It comes from action. The right actions, done daily, one habit at a time. Now the decision is yours. Will you do them? Or will you keep waiting? Make today count. Your future is watching.